Yo, welcome to the Fantasy Flow. Week 1 football's here, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh man, the Seahawks got a W. Our Seahawks and our
Thank you,
very
sir.
own Andrew Phillips was there. Andy, how was it being at the game?
Oh, what a blast. Week 1, home opener. Went with my father-in-law, Jim, and yeah, I mean, it was loud, and I lost my voice almost right away, so I had a great
Oh yeah.
time.
Your seats are incredible. I've sat in that section in those seats, and yeah, you just have such a perfect view. And that long touchdown run by Geno Smith, was that
Oh,
right on your side?
I
Or
got to see the Geno Smith touchdown, and I got to see the Zach Charbonnet touchdown right in front of me.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hard to complain.
What was your takeaways from how the team played?
Oh gosh, I had my head in my hands the first half. I was pounding back some water, lots of
Sure,
water in the first
sure, bud.
half, lots of liquid water, and wow, that was rough. But we only were down by 3 in the first half, and then the second half, I mean, our defense was our glue, and thank gosh we were playing against a Denver team that was still trying to figure things out, because if we were going against any other team that knew what they were doing, we were screwed.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it was a great defensive performance. I loved what I saw from that side of the ball. And yes, it's a very easy opponent. Rookie quarterback in his first ever start on the road. Um, Hopefully, you would hope our defense was be able to take care of it, but I was impressed. I really
Yes.
liked what I saw. And moving to next week, we'll talk about it, but like it's another rookie quarterback. Well, it's either Jacoby Brissett. Either they stick with him or they
Right.
switch to a rookie. So yeah, we'll see as we go on. But yeah, for the offense, the O line's a huge problem. But yeah, they made some great second half adjustments.
Yeah.
So
Overall, I'm not too worried, but it was looking real grim at the beginning. But it's a veteran team; they know how to come out of that type of situation at half, and that's
yeah,
exactly
so
what they
much
did.
turnover in the offseason. I didn't know what to make of this team, and I kind of still don't. But I'm glad we won.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take the W, especially going to the game and bringing the father-in-law. I am more than okay with taking the W.
Yeah, sounds like it was a great time.
Yeah,
Um, Across the league, a ton of awesome action. We covered the early games in our last episode. And then there was just so much football on Sunday. It was amazing to just kind of try to consume it all. Lots of people have lots of strong takes, lots of strong reactions, maybe some overreactions. Andy, what are you feeling after week 1?
I'm gonna give you overreaction from the Sunday night game, the Rams versus Detroit. I'm gonna say Cooper Cup is gonna finish as a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy football.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, he's absolutely on pace. He's a total stud. I don't think that's an overreaction. I think that's an appropriate reaction. We've already seen it, and Puka's gonna miss at least the next 4 games based on
4,
what we
maybe
know
5.
as of this recording.
Yeah.
And yeah, as long as Stafford's healthy and as long as Cooper Cup is healthy, I don't see why not.
Yep.
I don't see why not. I always thought it was crazy that Puka Nakua is being drafted so much higher than Cooper Cup just because he had a better statistical year last year. It's like, well, if this guy gets healthy, like, are you really saying that Puka's above Cup in the pecking order in
Right.
in
That's what they
target
were
share?
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any Puka, any shares across any leagues. Did you?
No. No.
And how many Cooper Cup shares do you have?
I think I don't think I have any. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people were kind of agreeing on that mindset and able to take him. And not that I didn't want him on my team, I just was not in positions or felt like there was other opportunities to stay with running back or whatever. So no, I don't
Yeah,
have any shares of either player. But I just knowing how, like you said, he's done it before. He Matthew Stafford and him are best friends, so why not?
yeah, yeah. I'm in 7 fantasy leagues. I have Cooper Cup in 3 of them.
Nice.
And yeah, if you If you're waiting for me to tell you that you're overreacting, you came to the wrong guy.
I figured you would like that one.
Oh yeah, it's wheels up for Cooper Cup
Yep,
for
yep,
sure.
yep. What about
Um,
you?
oh man, and tell me if this is an overreaction or not,
Oh, I
but
will.
I am worried about tight ends across the league for fantasy football, for their production in the passing game. They were just not being used, and it was not just one game, not one player. It was across the league, and I have some stats here. Give me 1 second. So receiving yards from the tight end position, you have Isaiah Likely with 111 receiving yards. He was the only tight end in the league to have more than 60 receiving yards.
Yikes. Yikes.
That's crazy, right?
Do you know who the next closest was?
Brock Bowers, the
Oh,
rookie
yeah, that's
tight
right.
end
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
Raiders, had 58 receiving yards, which is pedestrian,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, good for him. Rookie tight end first game, that's promising, but
Sure.
to be second in the league in receiving yards from the tight end position, Colby Parkinson was third with 47. I mean, has the league have defenses in the league adjusted to take away the receiving tight
Mm,
end? Like, is this going to be a trend? What do you think?
I think I don't think you're overreacting, but I do think that a lot of this week one was kind of a reflection of a preseason game because all those starters were missing time and just didn't play during the preseason. So they kind of had to, all those offenses had to learn how to play with each other here this during this week on the games that did count. So I think we'll see an uptick on the tight ends, but I am just as worried as you are. All those teams, all those managers that took tight ends in the first rounds and the first couple rounds. I mean, we are holding on to our pockets.
Yeah, yeah,
we're
no,
not
it
feeling
is
great.
exactly. Yeah, for fantasy, it just seems like the people who waited until the end to take some dart throw tight end really came out ahead because
Yeah,
every single early pick, all those fantasy managers are worried. I'm not going to say that they're bad picks because there just haven't been enough games yet to really say. But man, I was trying to make some excuses for Mark Andrews, but then I saw the same thing happen to all the other good tight ends, and I was like,
right.
oh no, what's going on here?
Right.
So
I did see some promise with like Trey McBride because of the targets and the volume. It just weren't getting the catches, you know.
right,
But
yeah, no
like,
touchdowns and not a lot of yards. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see moving forward. But yeah, that just when you started to think, wow, yeah, there's finally enough good tight ends to go around for like a normal 12 team fantasy league, they all just disappear. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Disappear.
Something else that stood out to me, and this isn't really a take, more of a question for you. Just looking around the league, week one, the box scores, the final scores, the highlights. The NFC South actually has some teams. The Saints and the Bucks, they both put up around 40 points and they both had huge wins. Are either one of those teams for real in your mind?
The Bucks for sure. The
Yeah.
Saints, they beat up on an easy team. You know, yes, it was a divisional team, but they beat up on the Panthers. I mean, congrats. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Panthers are going to be losing by that many points in multiple other games to other teams across the league. So it was exciting to see from the Saints' point of view. I mean, wow, high-powered offense, but how much can we really take away? But the Bucks, I mean, continuity is underrated at this stage of the game right now in the NFL, and they have a bunch of continuity between coaches, between captains, between stud players, quarterback, across their entire team is a lot of the guys bringing back. I mean, look at Dallas, same thing. They brought back almost the exact same team, and they dominated week one.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great observation. Yeah. I think a lot of people thought that when the Buccaneers lost their offensive coordinator, that Baker Mayfield would just stop throwing touchdown passes,
Right,
and he was the only quarterback to throw 4 touchdown passes this week. So,
man. Oh man, what a guy! Go Baker, dude.
yeah, he's really easy to root for, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else stood out to you from week one?
Do you want a standout or do you want an overreaction?
Hit me with another overreaction.
Okay. AFC. The first one was NFC. This is AFC. Regarding fantasy football, Joe Mixon will finish as a top 5 running back. Overreaction or no?
I think it's too early. That sounds like an overreaction. The dude had, what was it, 30 carries?
Yeah,
30 or
I
33
got his
carries?
stat line from the game.
Hit me with it. Yeah.
30 carries, 159 rushing yards, and 1 touchdown. And then he's even involved in the passing game just the right amount. 3 for 3, 3 targets, 3 receptions for 19 yards. I mean, he's getting that timeshare on the passing. He's definitely the bell cow on this team. It made me think like Cincy is missing this guy. I mean, Cincy is wishing they had him back just for this one,
Well,
just for this
yeah, the
game.
Bengals took a terrible L against the Patriots. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't doubt
how
that.
happy?
That's not an overreaction that they missed Joe Mixon, but I don't know
Right.
if he's top five. I mean, he's top five right now. He had a great performance, but I don't think that's sustainable. I heard somewhere that 30 carries, that's the most carries he's ever gotten in any game.
Yes.
And he has a bunch of mileage on those tires, and I don't think it's going to be sustainable. Um, I think, it's possible that he was a draft day value and that he's going to be uh, low end RB1, high end RB2, but to say top five after 1 week, I mean that's tough. What are you talking like end of season? He'll
End
finish
of
at
season.
top
Yeah,
five.
he will finish the season as a top 5 running back
Yeah,
because
I gotta call overreaction on that.
Okay,
I
okay.
don't know.
I mean that offense. I mean, we're all predicting Houston to have a top 5 offense. Why can't he finish as a top 5 running back on a top 5 offense?
I just yeah,
Yeah.
age, overusage. You can't get 30 carries every game. That's
No, you
just
can't get 30.
nuts.
But what about 20? What about 18? What
Yeah.
about What about getting a buck every game? Whether that a combination yards, right?
Yeah, it's a super interesting conversation, especially with Christian McCaffrey missing time, Derrick Henry not being used at all in the receiving game. Um, yeah, yeah, there's room up there in the top five, and we'll see, we'll
We'll
see.
see. We'll see. That's my AFC overreaction. What do you have another one?
I did not.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
No. Well, I guess okay. I can hit you with another one.
Do it.
So my other overreaction, very closely tied to the fact that the sky's falling when it comes to tight ends, is the passing. Passing was way down across the league. Like I said, Baker Mayfield threw for 4 touchdowns. Derek Carr threw for 3, and no one else threw for 3. There
Mm,
were,
okay.
let's count them, 6 other quarterbacks who threw for 2. So, so that's 8 quarterbacks throwing for more than 1 passing touchdown in week one. My reaction is that no quarterback is safe for fantasy football.
Mm,
I think
I
that's
like
my like, am I overreacting? Because with tight end, it seemed like they all did poorly, and with quarterback, it's like if it seems like any quarterback is capable of just having this down game. We Mahomes only threw for 1 touchdown. Kyler didn't do well. Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford only threw for 1 touchdown. Um, yeah, like there was a couple that had a good game,
Mm.
but like with what we saw this week, how can we trust any quarterback moving forward? Can you talk me off the ledge here when it comes to quarterbacks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fantasy football?
I think you're overreacting there. I'm gonna, back to the whole using this game as a preseason game. I mean, a lot of the offenses just came out. I mean, we just talked about the Seahawks. Like they came out
Yeah,
flat in the first half. Kirk
so
Cousins
many
came out.
unwatchable offenses.
Oh God,
It's
yeah. Kirk
crazy.
Cousins came out flat. Jalen Hurts came out flat, and we watched that game. I mean, I think the Bengals are going to need Joe Burrow to step up.
That was devastating for
I
people who
think
started Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think Kyler Murray's going to have to step up if they want to win games. Matthew Stafford, now that Puka's out, like
Yep.
they're going to have to find a way to use
Concerning. And
him.
we just lost Jordan Love for an unknown
Jordan
amount of
Love,
time.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
Levis in Tennessee, like that offense was unwatchable, and so is
gosh,
the other side of the ball, and Caleb Williams, like
let's
just
not
super
talk about
disappointing.
Tennessee. Let's
Okay.
well, that was they
Yikes.
almost
Yeah.
won that game. I mean, they should have won that game, as crazy as that
Yeah.
is. But
Yeah, they
that
should have.
offense is. I'm hoping a lot comes back from that offense. I like that discussion. I like keeping a note. Definitely the tight ends is scary. The quarterback situation. I think we can table for like week 2, week 3, and if it's still that same type of pattern, let's hammer that down because and let's dive in and talk about it because that'll be interesting to note.
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting transition here as we go to our Guillotine Listener League.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, one of the teams got chopped, as they will every week he is
Yep.
done. Brandon, thank you so much for playing.
The tribe has spoken.
R.I.P.
RIP, man. Take a look at his roster that got chopped. He had Joe Burrow at quarterback, which, you know, as the week went on, you didn't know about Jamar Chase and you knew T. Higgins was gone, and it's
Oh
against a
yeah.
tough Patriots defense. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, you know, in an 18 team league, it's hard to bench Joe Burrow, but honestly, we kind of saw a down game coming there.
Right.
And then he started three rookies: Xavier Legette, Lad McConkey, and Trey Benson. And I would never recommend that in any guillotine league. You're counting
No.
on these kids first time ever in the league, and you know, you just listen to any former player, they'll tell you college to NFL is just night and day.
Right. Right.
Uh, so yeah, I don't. What do you think about his team and what happened there?
I think he had a strong draft. I mean, Puka, Tank Dell, Lad McConkey, McConkey, Trey McBride, Joe Burrow. I think he had a strong draft for a season long team, but like we saying, this is guillotine. This is week by week. So
Sure.
putting your trust in Puka that was going hurt going into that game, hurt going into the season. Lad McConkey, Xavier Legette, rookies, Trey Benson, rookie, Tank Dell coming off of an injury, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
those
No.
are
I.
all just questionable players going into that week 1 and unfortunate and Joe Burrow having like maybe the worst game of his career, not surviving the whole game.
Yeah. No, and there's a fluky element to it too. I mean, if he just swaps Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow, he's
Oh
safe
yeah,
by a
that's true.
mile.
I didn't even see that. Oh my
Yeah, it's
gosh.
crazy. So I
Oh yeah,
mean,
you're totally right. I just saw
so
that.
tough. You know, if
Yeah.
Puka plays the rest of the game, he's probably safe.
Right, right.
So
And
it's a combination of strategy and luck, like it always will be. So
yeah.
speaking of strategy, I wanted to ask you because waivers just ran and you
Sure.
dropped over 30% of your fab budget, which is a huge deal in guillotine leagues, to pick
Yes.
up a couple of his players. You picked up Trey McBride and Tank Dell, both for about 15% of your budget each.
Right.
What went into that strategy and how are you feeling?
Sure. Yeah. So I this is a guillotine league with a bunch of new people, a bunch of new folks, bunch of listeners, and I had no idea how to approach this. So um, I wanted Trey McBride, like I mentioned earlier about the volume and the targets. I think those are going to come easily for him. And my current tight end was Dalton Kincaid, and that has me scared shitless. So only getting 2 targets and 1 catch in that whole game. So I really wanted to solidify the tight. I mean, Trey McBride is going to be my tight end for the rest of the season, pretty much. And Tank Dell, I mean, just such a value. Those were the 2 best players that I saw on his team. So I
Sure,
just
sure.
wanted to get him. I honestly had no idea how this was going to go. I had no idea if those numbers were high. I had no idea if those numbers were low.
They were right on.
Um,
They were right
yeah,
on. You
yeah,
you you got Tank Dell by $1,
exactly.
and yeah, your McBride bid was pretty close to the rest of them, but it was
Yeah,
happened to be the highest.
yeah. So I'm as shocked as you are that they hit. Honestly, that
Okay,
I
yeah.
that I got them both. So I was pretty happy to see that, especially winning Tank Dell by a
Oh
dollar.
my
I mean,
goodness.
that
And you
is the
picked
best
up
feeling.
Jordan Mason right before
Oh
the
my!
week's games. So you have Jordan Mason sitting on the bench. Looks like he's going to start again.
Oh my
So
God!
yeah, I think you're going to be safe for a little while, bud.
What a pickup! What a guy! I mean, whew, that was clutch.
Yeah, yeah. I just picked him up in our home league, but I had to spend up to get him. So
Right, right.
you picked him up for free because you were paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. Speaking about that, it's so funny how everyone just overreacted on these news that Chris McCaffrey didn't play and he wasn't going to go in. It's like, um, did we not see that he was hurt all offseason? Did we not see the updates that he was questionable going into the game? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think there might have been just some confusion on like who exactly the backup was.
oh,
We all
okay,
thought it was
okay,
Elijah Mitchell, and then he was suddenly gone for the year. And people are
right.
looking at the rookie that they picked up. Is it Garendo? Is it Mason? I know for me, I wasn't sure if which one it would be, and if it was
Mhm.
one of them that they would just give them all the work like they did. But you picked the right guy, and that's exactly what happened. So
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a little bit more clear cut. I don't know. I thought Mason was the backup going into this game. I thought there was unsure. I knew it was unsure if Christian McCaffrey was even going to play. I only have Christian McCaffrey in one league, and I picked Mason up in that league and started him.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was shocked by the reaction of the fans and of around the sports media of how much of a blunder this was because I I thought it was a little bit more clear cut. I guess I'll just end it at that.
Sure, sure, yeah, and it's a super interesting note. You know, he was interviewed right after the game. This is one of the
Oh,
greatest moments of his life. And
yes.
they asked him, "When did you know you were starting the game?" And they put the microphone, and he said, "Oh, I was told Friday that I was going to be starting, and I was so excited." And you know, all weekend the coaches were saying, "We don't know who's going to
Yeah,
play,"
yeah.
and NFL teams are required by per league rules to divulge injury information like that, so that you
Yes.
know sports bettors can adjust the lines, and you know everyone watching can prepare, you know, for fantasy football or for whatever it is, and. Yeah, the 49ers just did not report that, even though apparently they had made their
Oh,
minds up way before. They didn't report the severity of his injury because they think it gives them some sort of advantage in the game, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah,
So yeah, and then you see the post-game press conference after they've gone to the locker room, showered, and you know now they come
yeah,
back out to answer more questions. Yeah, Jordan Mason looked a little dejected, like he had
yeah.
just gotten a talking to or something.
Oh, for sure. I knew right as he said that. I was like, he should not have said. He should have just
Oh
answered that
man.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm not too sure. I just had to prepare for the week like any other week and
I'm always ready. Yeah, yeah. I should
yeah,
have
yeah. Oh
something
my gosh, when he
politically
said the
correct with that. Yeah.
timeline, I knew right away. I was like, you should not have said that. That especially the Friday night. Now, if you had said, a couple minutes before, whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I knew right away. You do not ever give an inch of information about what goes on behind those closed doors, and that is exactly why.
Yeah, and just I don't know that anything's really going to come of it for the 49ers, but just know moving forward if you're listening to this and you play fantasy football, like you're not going to have any idea, and most of the information that's coming out of San Francisco about the whole situation,
Hmm.
about all their players really, it's going to
Right,
be half of it's going to be like misinformation. So
right,
just watch
right.
out. We have now come to the point in the Fantasy Flow podcast where we are going to vote an NFL team out of the playoffs. We're going to do this every single week. There are 18 weeks in the regular season. There are 18 NFL teams who will miss the playoffs. So after every week, we're going to vote one out and say, you have no chance to make the playoffs. Your season is over. And I know I have two teams in mind.
Oh, two.
Well, not that we're gonna vote off two,
Okay.
but there's two really great candidates in my mind, and those two
Okay.
teams are the Panthers, who are just bottom of the barrel every year, have no chance to
Right.
make it. They looked absolutely horrible on Sunday, and they have a chance to have the number one overall pick for the third straight year, which is just new levels of embarrassment.
Oh, yeah.
And the other team would be the Giants, who just look
Oh,
miserable.
wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you didn't pick any of the teams that I just put down the Raiders. I'm just not a fan of the Raiders at all. I
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they trade Devontae Adams before the trade deadline. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. The Raiders looked worse than I thought, for sure. And yeah, they lost to a division rival in the Chargers.
what if Drew Lock comes in for the Giants?
What, you think that's good?
Yeah, I think it's better than Daniel Jones at this point.
I don't. He's not going to lead him to the playoffs.
I love the Giants defense. I love the Giants defense.
I was worried you were going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I mean they didn't look good, but I know they have a lot of talent on that side of the ball. One of their young defensive stars, Kayvon Thibodeau, he was they put a microphone in his face
Hmm.
after the game, and they asked him, "Hey, so this Giants team, the defensive line's supposed to be the identity of this team. It's supposed to be a real strength, and they didn't look that good." Uh, and he just interrupts the guy before he even finishes his question. He says, "No, you're done. Does anyone else have any questions?" Just being a total dick after
Oh, that's
totally
funny. No,
losing that game.
that's a great response to that. Yeah. No, I don't
Is
want to
it?
hear it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're just talking to, that, like, a coach can handle that type of conversation or interview question. A player does not have to handle that. A play you just
Right after the
oh yeah,
heartbreaking
you just
loss.
dissed my entire performance and my entire my best buds, like who
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to
The
war
whole
with.
position group sucked.
Yeah,
Tell
no,
us
I'm
why.
out.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, that's I totally get that type of response.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what if can we compromise and pick the Panthers?
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go. Yes,
Oh
let's
my
pick the
goodness.
Panthers.
Bryce Young's first pass of the season.
Oh no.
INT.
Oh no, I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Very first pass right to
Well,
the
so
other
was
team.
Geno Smith.
Was it?
Well, yeah, because he had a sack, and then the next play was a pass, and he got hit. He got
Oh,
hit like down
yeah.
low and threw it right to the guy in the middle of the field. The guy on the other side of the on the
Ugh,
other team.
yikes. Yeah. Well, that turned around in the second half. You can't say the
Yes,
same thing for the Panthers, and they don't
yes.
have a viable backup at the quarterback spot, and they just lost Derek Brown, who they just gave a giant contract to
Oh
on the defensive
no.
line. Yeah, he's gonna miss a lot of time.
Oh no, that's huge. Yeah, sorry Panthers, but you're getting chopped.
Yeah. All right, Panthers,
I'm writing it down.
season's over.
Yeah, and that I can definitely agree with that. Let's see how the Giants do. I think they're playing the Commanders. The Raiders are playing the Baltimore Ravens, so that's going to be a tough test in Baltimore. So,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. With this exercise, so I've done this before. This is an original exercise that I came up with, and so moving forward, we will pick probably among the 0 and 2 teams,
right.
right? And then as the season goes on, we get more and more information, and we start to eliminate teams every single week, and it's pretty easy right now. We got a lot of terrible teams that probably won't
Yeah.
make the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna have some interesting debates throughout the year, but yeah, it's gonna get real tough down the home stretch, and hopefully none of these teams that we've already eliminated, come back from the grave. And
It's like a reverse survivor pool.
yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Because yeah,
Yeah.
there are winners and losers. We can win this
Right.
exercise, or we can lose this exercise. We're trying to not eliminate a playoff team in
Right.
2024.
Right.
So I think we're off to a good start, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye Panthers.
All right. So we are officially closing the book on week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to week 2. Let's get that schedule pulled up. And
Yes.
what are some things that you're looking forward to watching week 2?
Yeah, yeah. I really want to see a couple things. I really want to see how the Cowboys continue on. They're playing the Saints. Both teams lit it up. So both teams have a lot of continuity, as I've just mentioned before. So I'm really curious to see how the Cowboys handle that game. They're at home, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, the Jets, I really want to see how Aaron Rodgers comes in and win and hopefully wins that game against Tennessee.
Yeah,
I think Aaron
that's
Rodgers looked
huge.
really rough coming back. Yeah, that whole offense. What do you think? Did you associate that game and how the Jets looked to Nathan Hackett or Nathaniel Hackett or Aaron Rodgers?
I see Nathan Hackett the same way I see like all of LeBron's coaches in the
Mm,
NBA. I'm like, I don't think you actually do anything. Like, I think Rodgers is the offensive coordinator, just like I
mm,
think LeBron is the coach. Like,
sure.
when you have that personality and that much talent, like, I either think, here's what I'll say about it. I was disappointed, even though I knew they were going up against one of the league's top defenses. I was still disappointed. Somehow, Alan Lazard was the number 2 wide receiver. We didn't see any of their rookie Malachi Corley. We didn't see any Mike Williams, their big free
Right,
agent signing, and he's coming off an
right.
injury. So, hopefully the trajectory is going up. With both of those players as they get some more experience, some more time. But yeah, it's the offense just looks so mid. You have Garrett Wilson and like no other real threats. Brees Hall's good, but beyond dump offs, he's not like gonna juke out defenders. Running routes. Like we need more good route runners
Right.
for this offense to actually work. So I am also very excited to see him bounce back. I think he will against the Titans. Did not like what I saw from them. So yeah, that's going to be huge. Another game that I had circled for week 2, Bengals at Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these teams, man, are in need of a bounce back in the worst way. Fortunately, Aaron Rodgers gets a layup in week 2 against the Titans, but Joe
Right.
Burrow and the Bengals, they were supposed to be 1-0 heading into this game. They're not.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now they play the Chiefs. They're probably going to be 0-2, and it's like, are they even for real? Like,
They
I don't
need
know.
help. Yeah. They need help. I mean, something's not clicking. Whether it was just preseason, no connections during preseason, no like real practicing against real teams. Something's got their run game looks rough. Their defense
It
looks
does.
rough. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they need to kick it into gear ASAP.
They've had some success historically at Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see, but I'll be watching that one close
Yes,
to
me too.
see, are the Bengals even for real? And, they can keep it competitive and still give us
Right.
hope for the future. But yeah, I'm worried that they're going to get blown out. If they lose to the
Yeah.
Patriots, what's going to happen at Arrowhead?
Yeah. T. Higgins needs to come back for that team.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and let me verify this. It's so ridiculous. I just need to double check. But yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers are alone in first place in their division.
That's crazy. That's yeah. I mean,
And they
congrats to
play
the
the
Buffalo Bills.
Broncos. They play Bo Nix and the Broncos
Yeah, they're gonna be
next
2 and
week.
0. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah, if they,
yeah.
they they did what they did to Kirk Cousins, they'll do the same thing to Bo Nix. Those are like the
Yeah.
same player. So,
Yeah, I would say T.J. Watt and Aiden Hutchinson are probably the best, and maybe Micah Parsons. I would put those two tier one, and then Micah Parsons and Miles Garrett as tier two.
hmm.
But as the best non-quarterback players in the league.
Wow, yeah. No, I'm right there with you with TJ Watt. He just does not take plays off.
Oh my gosh, it is just he is
Relentless.
always there. And
Yep.
Aiden too. I mean, watching that Rams game, I mean, he was the defining factor for that defense.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
it's That's going to be interesting to watch too. Just what else goes on in that division, the AFC North. How
Right.
long can the Steelers hold on to this? Because
Yeah.
the rest of the division is kind of struggling. So
Yeah. Speaking about the Lions, I think I one takeaway and looking forward to week 2 is I think they're ready to go to the Super Bowl. I mean,
Ooh.
that game showed us they are not missing a beat. We don't need St. Brown. We don't need Laporta. We don't need, I mean, we need Gibbs a little bit, but as long as we can run the ball and smash you in the face, everything else will open up with Jamison Williams, with David Montgomery hitting you straight up. Gibbs can catch it. Gibbs can run it. I mean, their offense, and as long as Jared Goff feels is comfortable, and he's playing in a dome,
Yeah, yeah.
for all the games.
Pretty much, yeah. The schedule is amazing for them this year. I have no problems putting them up there now. I know I picked the Packers to win the division, and I'm gonna take that back. We didn't say no take backsies, but Jordan
That's a
Love got
mulligan.
hurt, and
That's a mulligan.
geez, yeah, no, I'm right there with you. We haven't really talked about that game. I think that was maybe the best game of the whole weekend, just in terms of
Yeah.
football. We had some incredible football. It went to overtime, and I don't know how intentional it was on the part of the Lions, but man, it was almost all Jahmyr Gibbs for 4 quarters, and Montgomery was fresh for overtime, and
Oh yeah.
they gave him that whole drive, and he just ran over that defense.
Yeah.
Kind of seemed like they could use a really nice, inside linebacker to deal with those things, but they traded him away. So
Oh yeah, that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, I think that when I saw Montgomery get the ball in the first play of the overtime, I was like, they're not taking him out.
he looked awesome. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
just great coaching. I don't know if that was intentional keeping him fresh for that overtime, but it was
Right.
intentional to put him in for overtime. They could have
Yeah.
put in the gas Jahmyr Gibbs, but they just said no. This is our possession. We're not giving it back. We're gonna
Right.
slowly just run over you all the
And
way
they
to the
did.
end zone, and they did.
They
Yeah,
did.
awesome.
Yeah.
One of my predictions that I actually feel pretty good about after week 1 was the 49ers going 17-0. They
Yes.
handled the Jets.
Yes.
Even with no Christian McCaffrey, I was nervous, and especially the point spread. I know we had some conversations about the point
Right.
spread.
Right.
Jets were getting 6.5, and when McCaffrey was out, I was like, oh my goodness, the Jets plus 6.5. Yeah, the 49ers won by like 20 without
Yeah.
Christian
They
McCaffrey.
destroyed.
Man, if they don't have any of those like Jenga pieces where like, oh, this team falls apart if insert name here is out,
Mm.
if they're deep and they all buy in and they don't just blow it, I think it's plausible to go 17-0. Now they'll probably, if that happens, they'll probably rest players for the last 2 weeks. But
Right. Right.
yeah,
Well,
their
you're looking.
dominance is unquestioned at this point.
I agree. They're looking good for the next handful of games. Vikings, at Rams, at home against the Patriots, at home against the Cardinals, at the Seattle Seahawks for Thursday night football. That's 5 wins, and then that's 5 more wins. So they'll be 6-0 going against the Chiefs at week 7. That would be week 7 at home. Excuse me, in Santa Clara. So that would be great. I have no
Wow.
doubt that can happen.
Super Bowl rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see that if both of
What
those teams are just
what if they're both undefeated?
right. That's what I was just gonna say. That would be
What
insane.
a game!
Hey, just wanted to jump in here real quick to remind you all about our partnership with BetStamp. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and you want to support our show, we highly recommend signing up for your next sports book through the show's Signup Expert link in the description. This will allow you to take advantage of many new user offers available. And don't forget to bet responsibly by tracking all of your bets and getting yourself the best odds through the BetStamp app. Back to the show! So that brings us to our last segment for the episode. This is going to be a new reoccurring segment that we're going to hit you with every single week. This is going to be the Fantasy Flow 4-pack, and this is brought to you by our partners at BetStamp. BetStamp is an app that helps sports bettors by comparing odds from different sports books so you can maximize your bets, and it helps track all your bets to keep everything organized and bet responsibly. We're thrilled to be working with them, and we're going to hit you now with 2 picks, 2 from me and 2 from Andy. These are game picks for week 2 against the spread. Andy, what caught your eye when you were scrolling through all of these picks?
Yeah, we mentioned this team just a little bit before. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Broncos. They're getting 2.5 points. I feel like that's an easy accomplishment for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that would be a favorite bet of mine.
Steelers minus 2.5.
Minus 2.5, excuse me. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. And then your other one?
Oh, you want me to go back to back? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Colts winning -3 against the Green Bay Packers. And it's in Lambeau, but they're going with Malik Willis as their starting quarterback.
Yeah, that line is ridiculous. That the Colts are only favored by 3 against a quarterback who can't throw. I mean,
they just lost by 2 points against their division rival Houston Texans. I mean,
they showed out, yeah. And
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson is that guy, especially for fantasy football, and he's, it's not even cold there yet, so I don't really have a problem with going to Lambeau.
I love that.
It honestly sounds like a great place to visit in September.
Yeah. Especially if you're a Colts fan.
Oh,
it's not
my
that
goodness.
far of a drive.
Yeah, so yeah, this Steelers and Colts. I also picked 2 favorites.
Okay.
We're going to have to win by a little bit more. We're going to have to win by a full touchdown in both of these games. I'm going Cowboys minus 6.5 over the Saints, and 49ers minus 6.5 over the Vikings. Yeah. And I wanted you to go twice because I'm kind of lumping these 2 together. Cowboys, 49ers, same point spread, and they're going up against 2 teams that had massive victories in week 1. The Saints absolutely blew out the Panthers.
Right.
And the Vikings absolutely blew out the Giants. But I'm here to tell you that both of those wins are just fraudulent. That is just because those 2 teams are absolutely horrible. And I think when they go up against a real team like the Cowboys and the 49ers are, that both of those powerhouse teams can win by a touchdown.
Yes. I think I'm a little nervous on the Cowboys and Saints, but I definitely think that's going to be a high-scoring game, and the Cowboys have the capabilities to blow them out. And then the 49ers and Vikings, that's an easy check mark in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 7.5, I don't know that I would have picked them, but as long as you're getting 6.5, I feel pretty good.
If they can win by 20 against the Jets and what that defense was supposed to be, they can win against Minnesota by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, well, Sam Darnold against the 49ers defense.
Revenge game.
Yeah, this is the fact that they're already familiar with him. They've gone against him in practice last year.
Right.
I don't like it.
The coaches know his tendencies, all that.
Yeah, no, that's a recipe for disaster, if you ask me. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us for this week, Andy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're planning to continue on with this program and these segments for the following weeks and the rest of the season, trying to upload every Wednesday.
Yep. Yeah, once a week from here on out for the rest of the season. And just jump on board. And this should be a fun ride all year.
Yeah, looking forward to it, buddy.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.